coming Saturday. Bengal is crucial for the BJP for electoral as well as ideological reasons. Electoral reasons because remember the last time in 2019, Bengal was the breakout election for the BJP. It went from 4 MPs to 18 MPs. It went from a mere 17% vote share to 40% vote share. The TMC had 22 MPs with a 43% vote share. But 2 years later, the TMC clawed it back. They blew it out of the park with 215 MLAs and a 48% vote share. The BJP's vote share dipped by 3 percentage points between Lok Sabha 2019 and Assembly 2021. This time around, the question is, can the BJP do better than Lok Sabha 2019? Can they go one up than the 18 MPs that they had last time? Will the Prime Minister's multiple road shows and rallies, including one today in Kolkata, this is the 7th time that the Prime Minister has been to Bengal since the start of the elections. Will all of it make a difference? Will Bengal once again be a breakout state for the BJP? Because if it has to match the previous tally of 303 or go one up on that, then Bengal will have to give rich dividends to the BJP. Is that happening on the ground this time around in 2024?
मेरे जीवन की शुरुआत में बंगाल की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका रही है। अब मेरी गारंटी है, जिसने खाया है उससे बाहर निकालूंगा और जिसका खाया है उसको मैं लौटाऊंगा। लोगों के अधिकारों की चर्चा थी और उसको एक बहुत बड़ा बल मिला है और इसके कारण बौखला करके अदालत को गाली देना, जजिस को गाली देना, ये तरीका शोभा नहीं देता।
जितना भी पॉलिटिकल लोग रैली करे बंगाल में है, हमारा क्या ऐतराज है? आप बोलिए कि यू आर एज ए प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ बीजेपी आप कर रहे हैं, लीडर एट बीजेपी कर रहा है, आपको इधर में चीफ मिनिस्टर नहीं लिखा है।
Okay, so let's set this up for you. What is at stake for the BJP and the TMC in this election in Bengal? Remember, the BJP had a breakout moment in 2019. They won 18 MPs from Bengal. They had a 40% vote share. Let's get you a deeper dive to see if the BJP stands to gain more in that state or will it lose some ground compared to 2019. Of course, in 2019, the 18 seats that they got in Bengal were key to the BJP going past 300 nationally. The BJP lost in 7 Lok Sabha seats by under 1 lakh votes. The BJP got more of the Dalit votes, 13 percentage points more than what the TMC got. 41% for the BJP and 28% for the TMC. Similarly with OBCs, and it's going to be a big issue in this election as well. Most recently, the Calcutta High Court has struck down on OBC quotas that were pushed first by the CPM government and then subsequently by the TMC government. So all OBC quotas from 2010 have been cancelled. In the last election, 15% more OBCs voted for the BJP compared to the TMC. And to my mind, where the most critical vote bank in Bengal was the tribal vote bank. 12%, almost 47% voted for the BJP. 47% of the tribal vote going to the BJP. The question now is, can the BJP repeat or better that success in Bengal? Because if they don't, then the chances of going past 303, forget about Mission 370 or 400, but even matching the 2019 tally becomes difficult. Bengal is a big state, 42 seats up for grabs. All right, let's open this up to our guest. Shehzad Poonawalla is national spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Shantanu Sen is Rajya Sabha member of Parliament of the TMC. Abhijit Majumdar is an author and journalist and somebody who very closely tracks Bengal politics. And here in our studios, Rashid Kidwai, senior author and journalist, who's also joining us. Shehzad, let me start with you first. And I laid down those numbers as far as our viewers are concerned, just to give them a perspective. the BJP went from a mere 4 seats to 18 between 14 and 19. They went from less than 20% vote share. In fact, the BJP has never touched 20% vote share till the 2019 Lok Sabha. It went from 17% vote share to 40% vote share in just one election cycle. Why do you believe you'll be able to repeat that or perhaps even do better, which is what your party believes?
30 seconds, and let me tell your viewers that the numbers that actually matter is this, that once upon a time Bengal contributed 30% to India's industrial growth. At one point of time, Bengal's per capita income was higher than that of Maharashtra, not very far ago. But because of institutionalized political violence, institutionalized corruption, and institutionalized appeasement politics, today Bengal, which showed India the road for the future, is now lagging behind to the extent that even UP has overtaken West Bengal on FDI parameters. Now coming to the numbers of politics. Zaka, what are we seeing in the last 5 years that have played out under Mamata Banerjee particularly? We have seen rampant corruption, and corruption not of the kind that she's just stealing from, the TMC stealing from the rich. They're stealing from the poor, stealing their houses, stealing their Manrega wages, stealing even the smallest things like a Group C or Group D SSC job. Then you saw rampant appeasement. In the name of appeasement, even women's security is compromised, whether it's Sandesh Khali or whether the rights of the OBCs are handed over to the Muslim community, on which the High Court has come down heavily. And then you have seen rampant political violence. Zaka, never have we seen Lok Sabha being marred by such violence. We've seen Panchayati elections, 13, 18, 23. We've seen post-poll violence in 21. But even now, look at the violence. Bombs are being discovered. Candidates are being killed. Now, this has resulted in something which I call as people wanting Paribartan. And this Paribartan urge is so strong, Zaka, I'll just take 10 more seconds, that even if you assume that between 2014 to 19, the growth that we've shown, 22%, even if you assume just half of that growth, today BJP is sitting at the cusp of 50% vote share. And when we touch near 50% vote share, Zaka, I am telling you, we will be sweeping West Bengal. Perhaps even 33, 34 seats might be less.
Okay,
it could be even
one
more
second.
than that.
Well, one second. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The best performance for the BJP in Lok Sabha or in Assembly was in 2019. In terms of vote share, it had a 40% vote share. Subsequently, in the 21 Assembly elections, it fell down by 3 percentage points. From 40%, it came down to 37%. In the Panchayat elections, municipal elections, subsequently, it fell even further. Okay, so you have a much bigger mountain to climb as of today compared to what it was in 2019. But that's not the point. Let me ask Dr. Shantanu Sen. Dr. Shantanu Sen, the biggest talking point in Bengal, and particularly in the last 10 days, has been the Calcutta High Court verdict rejecting all OBC allowances, quotas that have been given since 2010. And since 2011, it's been Mamata Banerjee's government. Last election in the 2019 Lok Sabha, the OBC vote share for the BJP was 44%, and for the Trinamool Congress, it was 29%. Now, with a fillip like what we have seen from the Calcutta High Court last week, why should we not believe that the OBC vote share for BJP would be closer to 50% and for you, closer to 20%?
Before I answer you, it's my moral duty to answer my BJP colleague on three important issues. Number one, he was rating West Bengal. Let me remind him, when the India is facing highest unemployment in last 45 years, Bengal has generated 40% employment. Bengal is first in agriculture, Bengal is first in MSME, Bengal is first in ease of doing business, and in many more cases. So for the health sector is concerned, Bengal is showing path to the rest of the country. Now come to the votes here. In 2019, the entire CPIM vote, that is a left vote, that went to the BJP ballot box. That's why they got so much of vote. And once the CPM has started regaining their vote, the vote share of the vote percent of the BJP has started decreasing. Now, so far the corruption issue is concerned, my BJP colleague is talking about corruption. And the finance minister husband himself is saying that the biggest political scam of the century across the world is electoral bond. He is talking about the corruption and Modi Adani scam. The amount is $120 billion. CAG report says that in Bharatmala project,
but Dr. Sen, look at the number of ministers in Mamata Banerjee's government who are in jail today from Partha Chatterjee to Madan
When-
Mitra.
when you
I
are-
mean,
when-
what are they
when-
in jail
when-
for?
When Sajjad Poonawalla was speaking, how many times you interfered?
Arey
If
sir.
you want to, if you want to conduct the program, you conduct it neutrally. Don't act like a BJP.
Sir, thank you
BJP
very much. I
troops.
don't need your
I'm
certificate,
sorry,
but
I'm
go
leaving
ahead.
your program.
No, Dr. Sen, come
I'm
on.
sorry, I'm leaving
Now,
your program.
who is
I
not?
am here
who,
to participate in a
go
debate.
ahead.
I am not here to argue with any BJP spokesperson.
No,
I'm sorry.
You go ahead. Make your point. Did I stop you from making your point? Dr. Sen, make your point. You're on national television. People are watching you. They're listening to you. Make your point. Okay, Dr. Sen has, I think, chosen to leave this program. But Abhijit Majumdar, you know, I fail to understand. Yes, corruption is an issue, and no one is saying that corruption is not an issue. The verdict on the electoral bonds is out there for everyone to see. But then, Madan Mitra, Partha Chatterjee, isn't this a valid question to ask a TMC spokesperson? So much so he is, fuming and he's left.
The point is, Zaka, please ask the person from TMC who just left your program, which is the second, I think TMC is the second or third biggest recipient of electoral bonds. Money from electoral bonds. That is one. Bengal is under the debt of 6 lakh crores, which is almost as much as Bangladesh's debt. Foreign debt, and Bangladesh economy is in doldrums. Imagine, Bengal having 6 lakh crore of debt. So, the problem with the TMC government is it keeps giving itself certificates. That is the problem. Now, as for corruption, it is for everyone to see, even privately speaking, non-BJP opposition people who do not support the BJP, people who are, for instance, extremely left-leaning in Bengal, say that TMC has crossed all red lines of corruption. It's just absolutely, people wonder if the top brass of the party even has control over its cadre. So it's just, it's bizarre to say this. Yes, BJP is, Zaka, am I still with you?
Yeah. Go on, Abhijit. Go on, yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying that, all this, besides, of course, appeasement, and by Muslim appeasement, let me tell you, TMC is not really doing Muslims a great favor, because what TMC is doing is trying to legitimize all sorts of infiltrators. When NCB, the National Commission for Backward Castes, started probing into this whole mess, OBC mess, it found that even Rohingyas were part of the list in Bengal, OBC list. Can you imagine? So, and none of the officials had any kind of explanation to offer.
Okay.
And, so when this is, when all this is coming out, when corruption is so rampant that it's in your face in Bengal, when there is so much violence, not just against BJP cadre, but against left cadre, against Congress cadre. Also, by the way, my earlier point of Muslims, Muslims are also bearing the brunt of TMC's extreme misrule. 2022, Zaka, 8 Muslims, 1 or 2 families were burned to death, charred to death by a TMC goon who's also a Muslim. So when law and order collapses, it does not discriminate between Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, tab nahi dekhta hai.
Okay.
Everybody becomes a victim. West Bengal is, when we talk about electoral violence, do we now talk about UP or Bihar or even Kashmir?
Okay. So let me
talk
ask
about West Bengal.
Rashid Kidwai this. The point that, and we have a short interview with the Prime Minister, he's also spoken about this. Number one, that Bengal used to have the highest per capita GDP till not so long ago in India. For the last 30 years or so, that has come down. Today, Bengal contributes less to the economy, gets less FDI than even Uttar Pradesh, which is part of the, or used to be part of the Bimaru states. That's number one. And number two, on this issue of corruption. Now, you can argue that, a Shubhendu Adhikari, for example, had cases against him. He's now the BJP's leader of the opposition. So, you could make that argument, but then that is not to take away from Partha Chatterjee or Madan Mitra or other very senior ministers in the Mamata cabinet who are today behind bars. Teacher scam, SSC recruitment scam, God knows what other scam. All of this has happened under Mamata Banerjee's watch. And to say that that's not an issue, or to, get offended and walk out of a show because an anchor asked you that, I'm not sure that that's going to cut ice with the people of Bengal.
Yes, Zaka, I think leaving the show was most unfortunate, and it's not part of a debate that should have taken place here. The thing is, Zaka, that these are allegations of corruption. Nothing has been proved. People have not been convicted. In India, there are a lot of examples like Jayalalitha, Pandit Sukhram, Lalu Yadav, who've been, who kept doing well in spite of facing corruption charges. Sometimes even in Jayalalitha's case, it acted as a a kind of victimhood worked for her. You look at case of Arvind Kejriwal. All this Aam Aadmi Party is continuing to do well in spite of facing serious allegations of corruption. So this is something in electoral politics doesn't work. Poll violence, it's a huge, it's not Mamata Banerjee's legacy. It was there during the left time. It was there during Siddharth Shankar Ray when Congress was in power. All these things are there. When you talk about Bengal, I think you must look at Mamata Banerjee as a politician who is a match for Mr. Narendra Modi. She is a very hands-on politician, 24-hour politician, and has the ability to surprise opponents and friends alike. So therefore, look at her. This thing you're talking about, the tribal vote moving away from her. Look at the way how this kind of thing she has worked on that Matua voters and etc. and tried to win back those sections of society which were going away from TMC. So we have a very, her bench strength is very good. You look at the kind of candidates she has put in, there are artists, film actors, cricketers, all kind of people are there. So I think Mamata is on a very strong footing. There is one state which is very keenly watched, it is Bengal.
No, but Rashid, if she was on such a strong footing, then why has she spurned away the CPM and the Congress? I mean, you have an India alliance in all other states across the country, but not in Bengal.
That is her strength, because there is nobody, there is only Mamata Banerjee, and she she does things on her own terms. See, you talking about that OBC quota, etc. Again, it's not a Mamata legacy, because if you're talking about 2010, Mamata was not in power. Mamata came in power in 2011. And second thing is this whole OBC quota, the court is actually, Zaka, to my mind, and I've read the judgment, is objecting to the procedure. And it's there in lot of states. There is a court is not saying that on the grounds of socio and educational background reservation to people who are backward, even if they are Muslims, should not be given. They are saying what is the basis of it, and the basis is missing. Even if you look at that famous or infamous Mandal Commission report, that also had lot of lacuna.
Okay. Shehzad Poonawalla, I come back to one of the points that Dr. Sen made before he left the show, which is that there is a direct correlation between the collapse of the left vote in the 2019 Lok Sabha election and the gain of the BJP. The left vote share went from 30% to 8%, and the BJP's vote share went from 17% to 40%. There was a 22% fall in the left vote and a 23% gain in the BJP vote. By all accounts, the left seems to have improved its vote share, whether it was 21 Lok Sabha, whether it was 23 the local body elections. Their vote share has now gone back up to double digits. And one of the reasons, and Rashid is right, one of the reasons why Mamata Banerjee did not want the TMC left Congress alliance in Bengal was because she realized that having a Congress left alliance suits the TMC because it eats into the BJP's vote. It eats into the BJP's vote share that the BJP got in 2019.
First of all, Zaka, I'm just glad that the panelist from TMC has left the show, but he has not booked a case against you. You know, the way they go, they book even people who put out memes. So I'm glad that you have been spared the dictatorial tendencies of Didi Ami. Mamta Didi. Now, secondly, let me make the point about Rashid Kidwai and then come to your point. Rashid Kidwai ji, I think you should read the High Court order again. The High Court order in para 327, 331, 332 is explicitly clear that it was not a legacy of the left, but in fact the classes of the Muslim community that were added by Mamata Banerjee, that were added only and only because it was done on the basis of religion, and that, and let me quote what it has said, that the said community has been treated as a commodity for political ends. The 77 classes as OBCs and their inclusion has been done as a vote bank politics. Such a reservation is an affront to democracy and constitution of India as a whole. So to say that this was, you know, basically some technical issue or a legacy issue would not be fair. It has been done purely out of political vote bank considerations, and the High Court has called it out as such. Now coming to your question, Zaka. Zaka, we have to remove the traditional ways of looking at BJP's rise in many of the states. Many people, some sitting in this panel, have said BJP कभी त्रिपुरा में सरकार नहीं बना पाएगी, BJP कभी असम में सरकार नहीं बना पाएगी, BJP कभी तेलंगाना में नहीं आ पाएगी. Those people do not realize that yes, in the initial period somebody's vote may break off and may join to us, but at the end when the BJP continues to grow, the voters of even the Trinamool Congress and many other sections have now started coming to us. So it is not that the Congress and Trinamool, they do, Congress and left do some alliance and suddenly the vote bank will go to them and the BJP is going to be left high and dry. I think that is a traditional way of looking at it. Today I am telling you that the manner in which Mamata Banerjee has governed the state of West Bengal, people are angry and are seething. She has been a good politician, perhaps according to Rashid ji, but she is a terrible administrator. And just let me give you two examples. Look at the behavior that she has exhibited when the cyclone has hit. She is least bothered about the cyclone or about the relief work. Secondly, please see the statements now she is making. In desperation, she has reached such levels of frustration that she is saying Ramayan, Mahabharat and Quran, ye samapt ho jayega, main sirf rahungi. So I think today the levels of megalomania that she is displaying are clear indication that she also knows that the ground under her feet is slipping and the BJP is going to now reach over 45, almost 50% vote share. So all these traditional mathematics won't add. It's the chemistry that is mattering in Bengal.
So Abhijit, is it now a bipolar contest in most of these 42 seats? Is it clearly TMC versus BJP, or are there constituencies, about half a dozen of them, where we don't know whether this Congress left alliance will get 5% vote, 10% vote, 15% vote, and who is it likelier to eat into? Because ultimately, you know, unless the pie itself grows, and we have no evidence of that so far in the Bengal election, the vote has to come from either of these two blocks, either the BJP vote or has to come from the TMC vote. And if the BJP's own contention is that the TMC vote is entirely 90-95% Muslim, and if there is no evidence to show that the Muslim vote is splitting, then where is this 5 or 7 or 10% vote going to come from?
Yeah, the thing is, Zaka, there are two parts of it. One is West Bengal probably has the highest Hindu consolidation after Gujarat. And I'm not saying this lightly. If you just go into the figures of 2019, and please don't equate a Lok Sabha election in West Bengal with a local election, because in local elections, it is just hell. Even there is one election which is still in courts for dozens of murders and arson and rape. That is the West Bengal 2021 election, plus the West Bengal panchayat elections, etc. Now the thing is that there are reports that in places like Baharampur, etc., Muslims are voting for the Congress. Baharampur, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is the candidate. Now there are parts of, there are certain seats where, the Muslims apparently, a section of the Muslims at least, are voting for the Congress with the idea that the Congress is the main challenger to the BJP at the center. And Mamata cannot be relied upon when it comes to having a post-poll alliance with the Congress or rest of the whole India alliance.
Okay.
So that is one. The second part is that there will be, greater Hindu consolidation behind the BJP this time. because of the whole OBC thing coming out and the, constant this thing of violence. Also, if Mamata Banerjee's intimidatory politics, I'll take, 10 more seconds, Zaka. One of the greatest examples is Bashirat, the constituency under which Sandesh Khali falls. After such, allegations of, utmost inhuman atrocity on women, who does TMC field as a candidate from Bashirat? Haji Nurul Islam,
Yeah.
who was the architect of the Deganga riots. And he's a known goon. So it's a message to voters that, listen, this election will
Okay.
also get over, but you'll have to stay here.
Okay, Dr. Shantanu Sen is back on the broadcast. So, Dr. Shantanu Sen, please respond to the 2 points made by Abhijit Majumdar. One, that there will be Hindu consolidation, not least because of the OBC verdict from the Calcutta High Court last week. And two, that there is a split in the Muslim vote in some constituencies like Berhampur and Malda and Murshidabad, where the Muslims feel that the Congress candidate might be in a better place to defeat the BJP candidate. Please respond to both.
First of all, Trinamool Congress, unlike BJP, doesn't work for any particular religion or any particular caste or creed. I would like to remind you that Mamata Banerjee's government works for each and every person. So here there is no question of Hindu consolidation or minority consolidation. And let me tell you, so far the Basirat issue is concerned, my previous colleague was talking upon, is very unfortunate to listen to these points. Once the video has become viral, the video in which the Sandesh Khali Mandal president of Bharatiya Janata Party, he was admitting that only at the cost of 2,000 rupees, women were forced to lodge complaint when there was at all no case of rape or molestation. Nothing can be more unfortunate. The Sandesh Khali, the Basirat BJP candidate Rekha Patro, she herself was admitting that it's not me who was taken to Honorable President of India. Who else was taken to the President of India? Oh, so entire thing was camouflage. It's a motivated, concocted story, and it was a movie directed and produced by Bharatiya Janata Party that has become totally unveiled. So the anti-women BJP will be given a befitting reply, not only by the voters of the Basirat constituency, not only by the women of the Bengal, but the entire women at large in the country in the coming 7th and last phase. And it will be reflected on 4th of June when the counting will be over.
Rashid Kidwai, I'll give you the final word. Why? I think I'm very clear that this election in Bengal, much like the 2019 election, is a direct bipolar contest in many of the constituencies. More than 90% of the constituencies is a direct fight between the TMC and the BJP. And whenever it's a bipolar contest, and you've seen enough elections, to validate this hypothesis, it is always beneficial to the challenger or to the anti-incumbent, whoever is challenging the incumbent party. And that is likely what's going to happen in Bengal.
Probably yes, but Zaka, we must not forget that here is Mamata Banerjee, who has very deep roots in society. She has a substantial support base among, so to say, the majority community, and plus she gets 80-90% of minority votes. So that makes her very, politically speaking, very strong and formidable. So what you're saying is true, but may not come true in Bengal.
Why was that different in the 2019 Lok Sabha? 2019 Lok Sabha, the same factors.
I think 2019 Lok Sabha, Mamata was taken by surprise. She has worked very hard since then. And if you look at the choice of a candidate, you look at her strategy, look at the talking points, I think she has emerged far more stronger than what she was in 2019.
Okay, we'll know on the 4th of June which of these two narratives, which of these two political ideologies actually managed to capture the imagination of the voters of Bengal. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all our guests. Bengal is going to be fascinating. Like I said, in 2019, it was the breakout state for the BJP. It was in many ways singularly responsible for the BJP upping their score from 2014, going past the 300 figure and eventually settling at 303. And again, in 2024, if the BJP is hoping to repeat that success, then they have to see similar levels of success like they saw in 2019 in the state of Bengal. Up next, in arguably one of the biggest interviews ahead of that final phase of elections, and like I said, 10 seats in Bengal are going to polls in the last phase. CNN News 18's Pallavi Ghosh spoke exclusively with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was on a roadshow in Kolkata today, in North Kolkata. He says he's had a long connection with Bengal, adding that this outsider tag, which the TMC has given to him repeatedly, reflects, according to him, a bankruptcy of ideas. He's also stressed on what happened in Sandesh Khali. He says the women of Bengal will punish the TMC. Listen in to this exclusive interview.
पहले मेरे राज्य में आपका बहुत बहुत आगमन एंड वेलकम।
मैं बहुत आभारी हूँ, आपका भी आभारी हूँ, पूरे बंगाल का आभारी हूँ। और मेरे जीवन की शुरुआत में बंगाल की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका रही है और आज मुझे माँ के चरणों में जाकर के यहाँ पर आशीर्वाद लेने का मौका मिला, तो मेरे लिए शुभ अवसर है।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, सुबह से तृणमूल का कहना है कि आप आउटसाइडर हो, बीजेपी का कहना है कि बंगालेर मोने मोदी हमारे मन में प्रधानमंत्री हैं। आप अपने आप को आउटसाइडर तो नहीं समझते हो, आपका जवाब क्या होगा तृणमूल कांग्रेस को?
ऐसा है कि शायद कुछ लोगों की इतनी बैंक्रप्सी है कि वो पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव गढ़ नहीं पा रहे हैं। आइडियोलॉजी पर, विजन पर, डेवलपमेंट के प्रोग्राम्स पर, उस पर कोई बात करे तो उसका एक वैल्यू है। जब वो कुछ नहीं होता है तो फिर ऐसी बातें करनी पड़ती है जो किसी भी देशवासी को अपमानित करती है और उनको अंदाज नहीं है कि इसका नुकसान देश में बंगाली समाज को भी होता है। ये कभी नहीं करना चाहिए। इस देश का किसी भी कोने में रहने वाला व्यक्ति, उसके प्रति हमारा वही भाव होना चाहिए। और वैसे तो हम लोग वसुधैव कुटुंबकम वाले हैं, पूरे विश्व को परिवार मानते हैं, तो हमें ये शोभा नहीं देता है।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैं संदेश खाली से हाल ही में होके आई हूँ और वहाँ पे मैंने बहुत सारी महिलाओं से बात करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन वो कुछ सहमे हुए हैं। उनको उम्मीद है कि वोट से शायद उनको वो मौका मिलेगा बोलने का। आप नारी शक्ति पे बहुत जोर डालते हैं, संदेश खाली को लेके आपको क्या कहना है?
मैं बताता हूँ। सबसे पहले तो मैं संदेश खाली के उन सभी बहनों का चरण स्पर्श करता हूँ तो उन्होंने इतनी हिम्मत दिखाई, उन्होंने व्यक्तिगत प्रतिष्ठा की चिंता नहीं की, क्या परिणाम हो गए उसकी चिंता नहीं की, और वो इतने बड़े भयंकर षड्यंत्र को उन्होंने लोगों के सामने उजागर किया। मैंने आज मेरी एक सभा थी, तो बहन रेखा पात्रा जी हमारी उम्मीदवार है, मैंने उसका भाषण सुना, मैं आश्चर्यचकित था जी। क्या एनर्जी थी, क्या आइडियोलॉजी थी, क्या फ्लो था। शायद टीएमसी के पास रेखा पात्रा जैसा भी एक ऑरेटर नहीं होगा। झुग्गी झोपड़ी में पली हुई है, मतलब वो भीतर से उसके दिल की आवाज बोल रही थी। जहां तक बीजेपी का सवाल है, हमने दो दिशाओं में काम किया है। एक, नारी सुरक्षा को ध्यान में रखते हुए कानूनी, जैसे हमने रेप के मामले में फांसी की सजा, उस दिशा में हम लोग गए हैं। उसी प्रकार से हमने आरक्षण की व्यवस्था की महिलाओं के लिए। हम 3 करोड़ लखपति दीदी बनाने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। हमने घर की मालकिन महिलाओं को बनाया। तो एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ वीमेन एक तरफ वो काम है, दूसरी तरफ हम देश में एक वातावरण, आपको मालूम होगा, लाल किले पर मेरा पहला भाषण था, मैं बिल्कुल नया था और मैंने एक सवाल पूछा, कोई मुझे बताए कि बेटी अगर शाम को आने से देर हो जाए तो पूरा परिवार पूछता है कहाँ गई थी, क्यों देर से आई, क्या कर रही थी। लेकिन बेटा अगर रात को 11 बजे भी आ जाए तो माँ पूछती है बेटा खाना खाया ना। ये क्यों? ये लाल किले से मैंने बोला था, क्योंकि मैं मानता हूँ हमारी सामाजिक मनस्थिति में भी ये बदलाव लाना जरूरी है और मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। और मुझे विश्वास है कि बंगाल की महिलाओं के मन में ये जो एक असुरक्षा का भाव है, ये सबसे बड़ा चिंता का विषय है। हमारी कोशिश रहेगी कि हम उस दिशा में कानून का उपयोग स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को समझा करके या डायरेक्ट अफसरों से बात करके कोई न कोई रास्ता खोजना पड़ेगा।
बांग्ला विरोधी मोदी भी आपको कहा जाता है। मैं बात कर रही हूँ ओबीसी कोलकाता हाईकोर्ट का जो ऑर्डर है उस पे आपको क्या कहना है ममता बनर्जी?
ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा है, ये किसी के विरुद्ध में नहीं है। भारत की संविधान सभा ने आरक्षण किसको मिले उसकी बड़ी चर्चा की थी और भारत के बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर कहो, डॉक्टर राजेंद्र बाबू कहो, पंडित नेहरू कहो, सबने सहमति से तय किया कि धर्म के आधार पर एक बार देश बंट गया, अब धर्म के आधार पर देश के टुकड़े नहीं होने चाहिए और उसी में से आया धर्म के नाम पे आरक्षण नहीं होना चाहिए। अब इन्होंने क्या किया, मुसलमानों को आरक्षण वोट बैंक के लिए,
राहुल गांधी भी यही कहते हैं,
ये आंध्र ने भी किया, कर्नाटका ने किया, लेकिन अदालतों ने इसको मना कर दिया, बयान नहीं कर सकते हो। तो इन्होंने पिछले दरवाजे से रातों रात मुस्लिम समाज के अलग अलग समुदायों को ओबीसी बना दिया और ओबीसी का जो हक था उसको लूट लिया, डाका डाल दिया। मैं कलकत्ता हाईकोर्ट का आभारी हूं कि चर्चा चल रही थी लेकिन कोई इस पर थप्पा नहीं मार पा रहा। जुडिशरी ने ये सारे पाप को उजागर कर दिया है और इसके कारण देश में एक जो चर्चा पॉलिटिकल लगती थी वो पॉलिटिकल चर्चा नहीं थी, लोगों के अधिकारों की चर्चा थी और उसको एक बहुत बड़ा बल मिला है। और इसके कारण बौखला करके अदालत को गाली देना, जजेस को गाली देना, ये तरीका शोभा नहीं देता है।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैं ज़्यादा सब टाइम आपका नहीं लूंगी, मैं जानती हूँ आप और एक सवाल और पूछूंगी। यहाँ पे एक प्रॉब्लम है, शुभेंदु दा भी अक्सर हमें बोलते थे नौकरियों की। गूगल, अमेजॉन जैसे बड़े इन्वेस्टमेंट कंपनी यहाँ दुकान नहीं खोलना चाहते हैं। बहुत युवाओं ने मुझे ये कहा है, आपका एक सपना है, आपने कहा एक इंटरव्यू में कि तीसरे कार्यकाल में आप इन पे जोर देंगे। बंगाल के लड़कों के और लड़कियों के लिए क्या सपना?
देखिए, हिंदुस्तान का इतिहास, पूरे देश को बंगाल ने लीडरशिप दी है। देश की इकोनॉमी को बंगाल ड्राइव करता था। अंग्रेजों का भी मुंह में पानी छूट गया था कोलकाता को लेकर के। पूरी दुनिया पागल होकर के कोलकाता आना चाहती थी। ये महान विरासत है, इस यहाँ के लोगों की टैलेंट, यहाँ के लोगों का सामर्थ्य, यहाँ की भूमि की ताकत, इतनी पैदावार भूमि है, यहाँ के मिनरल्स, यानी एक प्रकार से समृद्धि का भंडार है। लेकिन इन्वेस्टर्स भाग गए क्योंकि पहले लाल झंडे वालों ने बर्बाद करके रख दिया। छुट्टियां, हर दिन हड़ताल, हर दिन हड़ताल। इन्होंने आकर के उसी मॉडल को ले लिया और इन्होंने तो शुरुआत की, कोई इंडस्ट्री ना आए इसकी लड़ाइयाँ लड़ी। आज एक तरफ आपने इंडस्ट्रियों को भगाया, अब इन्वेस्टर सबमिट कर रही हो तो किसी के गले नहीं उतरता है कि घर आई हुई इंडस्ट्री को आपने लात मार करके भगा दिया। अब आप इन्वेस्टर समिट का नाटक करोगी तो कौन आएगा? आज उत्तर प्रदेश में बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में इन्वेस्टमेंट आ रहा है। क्यों? उन्होंने सुरक्षा का प्रबंध किया, उन्होंने ट्रांसपेरेंसी का प्रबंध किया, उन्होंने ब्यूरोक्रेसी को मोबिलाइज किया। उत्तर प्रदेश जहां पहले आने से लोग डरते थे, आज पूरी कतार खड़ी हो गई है। ये मैं बंगाल में भी देख सकता हूँ। सिर्फ 5 साल के भीतर भीतर एक बार यहाँ की सरकार अपनी आदतें बदले, दुनिया यहाँ आने को तैयार है।
वायलेंस का डर है यहाँ पे, पोस्ट पोल वायलेंस।
इसलिए मैं कहता हूँ सुरक्षा बहुत बड़ी बात है, वरना कोई नहीं आता है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जी।
थैंक यू वेरी मच, हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बंद कर रहा हूँ फिर मैं।
लाइट वाला हटा रहा है लाइट। आप दो 3 मिनट बाद ठीक हो जाएगा। अब कौन सी जगह से अच्छा मिल पाएगा? सीधा क्या है? बुद्धू सर तो सो गए, रिप्लाई नहीं दिया।
Impact Bharat's rise in the world. Join me, Nalin Mehta, for the most dynamic and distinctive coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equals CNN News 18.
आतंकवाद,
the juggernaut. Join me, Nistula Hebbar, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equals CNN News 18.
आतंकवाद
बंद कर रहा हूँ फिर मैं लाइट वाला हटा रहा लाइट आप तो 2-3 मिनट बाद ठीक हो जाएगा अब कौन सी जगह से अच्छा मिल पाएगा सीधा
Alliances will personal equations spoil chances. Join me, Smita Prakash, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections is equal to CNN News 18.
70 साल से अधिक
short-term dream achievable? Join me, Shapun Das Gupta, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equal CNN News 18.
3 करोड़
states be the opposition's trump card in these elections? Join me, Sumant C. Raman, for the most dynamic and distinct election coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis.
Presented by R.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. We begin with Israel's war on Hamas. The attack on a refugee camp in Gaza is backfiring. Europe is mulling sanctions on Israel. Netanyahu calls the strike a mistake, but he's not ending the offensive. In the other war, American weapons are failing. So Ukraine is scouting for supplies from Europe, while France is sending soldiers to help Kiev. Meanwhile, Russia could recognize the Taliban regime. It would be a major political prize for the rulers of Kabul. We'll tell you why Putin is considering this. In the Indian election, the rhetoric over Pakistan is heating up. We'll bring you the highlights. Global debt has reached unsustainable levels. Household debt is increasing and India faces some risks. We'll discuss. In Nigeria, another round of abductions